Hey everybody, I'm Chris with Only SP. I'm here with the amazing Amanda Miller. She was the voice of the main character Walker in Rage 2 for the female side. So, my first question is, what's it like voicing the female counterpart of a male character? Because if you have like two people doing the same character, how different is it once you're doing the opposite role?
It was kind of as if it was just like my character almost, just because we record separately. Like Sam's a good friend of mine, so it's like we would talk about, we're like, hey, did you go in for Rage this week? You know, but like for the most part, like maybe every once in a while you might hear a reference, like they might play a line of his just because they're like, let's figure out how he said this one because we're not sure. But for the most part, that was like once every 1,000 lines kind of thing.
Oh, that's not bad then.
So yeah, it was kind of like I got to create my own version, and that's kind of what the developer liked, was that it kind of has a replay value because we're both very different personalities.
Which makes it really nice in aspect because you're not just playing the same character with a different voice.
Right, like we're not both like, hey, we're video game protagonists, but we have different bits.
Yeah, that's true. So what was like some of the fun stuff doing Rage? Because it was an over-the-top post-apocalyptic game with like a bunch of crazy aspects. So how crazy were you able to get? It
was kind of nice because at first we were figuring out the character at first, and so in the beginning they were like, we wanted to be like, no nonsense, blah, 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 blah. But I'm very snarky as a person. And so I kind of was like, can I like add a little bit here and there? And so I started to like kind of breadcrumb a little bit of humor here and there, and they kind of enjoyed that. So then eventually got to a point where it's like something would blow up and she's like, all right, well, that's awesome. Just kind of like, they let me play with, to me, it makes her a little relatable to be like, oh, cool, yep, this is my favorite thing that happened today. Like, I don't know.
That's awesome. So you are a mixed race female. Has that impacted you in your career in any way when it comes to voice acting?
In good ways and bad. I would say, and really the bad is not too bad. I would say voiceover is pretty open-minded. Like they're still open. I play a boy, so it's like they're still like open-minded enough for that. Or like I think I played like a giant Medusa snake lady once, so it's like like you can. There's more range than like say on camera. Where they're like you can only be what you look like. But there is a thing now where they're trying to cast more like ethnically specific, which is good and bad because it means that like they're making more room for people who might not have been considered before. Because a lot of the top voices in voiceover and animation are all white. Not because of racism, but just because that's just who they was.
Kind of the people that move into the industry.
So the thing with that is that when the best of the best are all in one group, and you finally need somebody of another group, you're like, oh shoot, we don't know anybody. So it kind of forces them to open up their casting pool and listen to people that they don't know. Because Hollywood's very reticent to audition people they don't know. They like to just, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
It makes sense.
So the good thing about it is that, of trying to cast more like actual people of color playing people of color, is that it's bringing more people into the fold. Like, I started getting more stuff animation-wise because of that. Like, it hasn't affected my video games as much, but for animation, like, Disney finally heard my auditions because they were like, oh, well, we can't listen to the same couple people that we always listen to for this, so they've discovered a bunch of new talent that way. The negative side of that is sometimes you kind of get tokenized, where like I'll get called in for an audition, and I'm like, oh, I'm so excited to work with this studio. I haven't worked with them yet. I wonder why they finally, brought me in. Maybe it's because they heard I'm good or whatever. And then I see a character, and it's just I just got called in because it's a black female, and they're like, well, you fit the quota, or you fit the. They don't say that, but
but it's you just get that whole feeling from them, and it's
right. You're like, oh, I didn't get called in because I was good or because of whatever. It's like, oh, you just called me in because you need a brown girl. That being said, it's like, it doesn't hurt to get auditions, but it's like, I'd like to be considered for more than just being like
your
the
talent,
token
not
brown girl,
it should always be the talent that brings the person foremost. But it is nice that there are some now more doors opening up for people that usually would have had a much harder time.
That's the thing. It's like in the grand scheme of things, it's way more positive than it is negative. Like, oh, boo-hoo, I get more auditions. It's like that's not something to complain about. It's more just I'd like to be considered for more than just.
And honestly, it's healthier to look at the positives than the negative.
Like that's what my therapist says.
That's awesome. So what was it like working with Bethesda and the publishing company working on Rage?
They were so cool. So the publishing, it was Avalanche, right? Like
I believe so.
They're in Sweden.
Oh, true.
So for the first couple sessions, they were in the studio with us, like they were like staying in LA. So it was kind of cool. Like I got to meet the guys, like and they were the writers. So it's like that was also really cool too, because if I had a suggestion for a line, I'm like, hey guys, can I like add this little moment? They'd be like, you know what? They talk about it. And they'd be like, yeah, let's write that in. And then they'd be like, we'll make sure Sam gets that too. Like, so like if I changed a line, they'd like record it for Sam.
Okay.
Like so we tried to like
have some continuity.
Yeah, it was a collaborative, cool process. But and then eventually they had to go back to Sweden.
Yeah.
And the time difference is really big. So they would be Skyping at like 3 a.m. in like a broom closet somewhere. I don't know why. But they were like, we're in a closet, and I'm like, I guess that's how you do things in Sweden. They like keep the developers.
Best audio.
Yeah, they're like, maybe that's it.
Yeah.
They were so great. Everybody was so cool, and the fact that Sweden's a very egalitarian country.
Yeah.
So they're very about like representation and stuff. So for them, it was a no-brainer. They're like, well, yeah, we want people to be able to play as like a man or a female and whatever.
That's awesome.
It was cool that they had that inclusivity, because they could have just been like, nah, just play as a dude.
True.
Which is cool. I'm just saying it's cool to have options.
Yeah. So did you reach out to them for the audition, or did they come to you?
No, they came to me. Like, so I got the audition through my agent.
Okay.
Just like most of my other auditions, and you record it. I recorded it in my closet, ironically, because that's where I like. Pro tip: if you need to record voiceover auditions, your closet is a good place, because it's like smaller, so there's like the reflections aren't as echoey as a big room, and you have clothes on multiple sides, so it kind of dampens
everything.
The sound.
Yeah.
So yeah, I booked that from my closet. But
nice.
it was like multiple rounds too, because I auditioned once, and I guess they didn't like anybody's reads or something.
Oh, really?
So they re-released it with more like the sides. The audition copy was longer the second time. So I think they were like, we need to give people more to work with to see people's range. And I think they even said in the redirect notes for everybody, they're like, we want to see a little bit more, color and range. And so I'm like, oh, I can give you that.
Nice.
And so yeah.
Get that snarkiness in there.
Yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
that's my thing. If you need somebody who's like really super heroic, maybe not me. Like that's the fun thing. Sam and I were saying we never get cast as leads usually. We're usually like the snarky best friend.
Okay.
So we're both kind of excited to be like cast as the lead in this game, where we're like the quirky offbeat lead kind
That's
of
awesome.
thing.
That is awesome. So what was your favorite part about recording Rage 2? Like what was your favorite scene to do?
I love any scene. So for the most part, when you're recording lines, you're kind of just imagining what's there.
Yeah.
But there's some times where they've already kind of have a lot of the animation done, and you're getting to see the kind of outline of what it'll look like. Like sometimes it's most of the CGI that's actually going to be in the game.
Oh,
so
nice.
you're kind of like, and you can chase it. So basically it means like they'll start the scene and they're like, say the lines when you feel it. So it's that. Those are so cool because they feel like theater.
Yeah.
Like usually you're just doing the lines and it's kind of like on your own. You're acting all the characters in your head.
Okay.
But in those scenes, they often already have the other voice actor recorded too, or they have the mocap actors.
Oh, okay.
So it's like scratch, which is just like the rough lines.
Yeah, like all the jaggedy.
Yeah, it's like
animation.
We'll put the voice actors in here later, but this is what the stuff's gonna be.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where, I don't want to spoil anything, I guess, but like basically one of the scenes near the end where I'm fighting the big bad guy, like they let me chase a lot of it. So it's like getting to just like have those natural breaths and kind of like responding to things, even if it wasn't in the script. It's like, you like, and just kind of, it's like we're kids who never grew up, basically, so we still love to play.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And it's a very interactive playground to be able to see the stuff and like.
True.
Yeah.
So you've been in anime and video games for a long time. So in the video game scene, what has been your favorite character to play?
I'm just trying to think. So I was in State of Decay 2 as well.
Okay.
And that was really fun because again, you're getting to do a lot of like zombie bashing and stuff. So that was really fun. Honestly, I would say one of my favorites, just because I get to play a lot with my range, is Junko Enoshima in the Danganronpa video game series.
I've actually started that series. I haven't been able to get through it all.
I'm not going to spoil anything.
But shocked me on how much I actually got into that.
Yeah, it's like a weird. It like came out a couple years ago, and it was moderately popular because it came out for the Vita.
Yeah.
And I guess nobody had a Vita.
Yeah,
so
it started on PSP, went to Vita, and now they just released the trilogy.
And like when in the last year or two, I've been seeing a lot more people at cons coming up, and
Really?
I think it's because it was more, was it PlayStation 4 or something?
Yeah.
It came out like, and on Steam?
I
I think somebody told me it's on
I'm not sure about that. I do know that I do have it on PlayStation 4. That's how I got into it, was the
Yeah.
trilogy.
Okay, yeah.
When it
so
came out, I was like, this
all
is a
at
perfect
once.
time.
That's really
So,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, like it's such a fun, weird, inventive series.
It is.
So
It is.
I enjoyed it.
All right. Anyways, you do have a line getting up, so we should probably wrap this up. So
right.
I want to say thank you very much for giving me
Yeah.
this time.
Thank you for coming and saying hi, hanging out.
No problem. And what can we see you in next?
I can't talk about some of them, but I'm very excited, and I feel like they'll probably be announced in the next couple months. But
Okay.
So keep an eye out for that. But in the meantime, you can find me on Instagram at Amanda Celine Miller.
Okay.
Check out my YouTube channel, Twitter. I don't know. I'm on all the things.
Fair
all
enough.
the things.
I'll leave links to most of that down in the description. All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful Fan Expo.
I will. You too.
All right. Bye.